Welcome guys, we're here tonight at the VGArcade Arcade. I'm sitting next to JV here. I'm about to cast some Halo 5, Velocity versus Rize Gaming.
Oh yeah, and we've seen plenty of Rize Gaming here at the VGArcade Arcade stream, but Velocity will be gracing our presence for the first time, and hopefully not the last. This is one of those teams where they've really been making some waves lately. One of those teams where you can't really sleep on. They remind me a bit of, for you CSGO fans, Luminosity Gaming, right? This was a team that kind of came out of nowhere and really made some huge upsets this weekend at DreamHack. And that's kind of who I'm expecting to see from Velocity. I wouldn't say they're an S-tier team by any means, but definitely the kind of tier of team that you would expect to get top 8 at, say, like the World Championships. They're really good.
I was talking to Reaper, the captain of Rize Gaming, earlier, and he said that he actually expected Velocity to place top 8 in HCS this year.
Yeah.
And, I asked him, like, hey, you worried about the games? He's like, I'm not necessarily worried, but you'll get some great games tonight.
Well, I'm definitely excited. Rize Gaming has so far won pretty much every match that we've thrown at them. Every single series. They've been able to scramble together and come out on top. But how prepared are they for Velocity?
That's another big question to see, which we'll actually find out tonight. The first game will be Strongholds on Eden, so a little bit switching it up there, as both teams did agree to do Strongholds first. Then we'll go to Slayer on Regret, Breakout Gamble, and if we do go to a game 4, it'll go CTF on Truth, and then 5 will be Slayer on Coliseum.
Definitely a nice variety of game types overall. 2 Slayer modes in a row, though. Even though Breakout obviously is not technically Slayer, I still consider it to be a kill-based game. And so I think that there's a lot of similarities within games like that.
Yeah, man, but, let's not hold off on any more action. Let's go straight into the game on Strongholds Eden. As we're loading it up, we see a noob combo on there, pop an enemy shield with a plasma pistol, and finish them with a headshot.
Yeah, so Eden going to be interesting. Strongholds, I think, is going to be one of those game types where we're going to be seeing a lot of competitive play. Generally speaking, each team starts with one objective that's basically a freebie. And so the objective that's in the middle is going to be where all of the action is going to be going down. But at the same time, you have to make sure that you're able to go and get that initial objective. Make sure you have a nice stronghold, if you will, over that initial point so that you can go ahead and go right into the action. And we're heading into the action right now with Posey, who's trying to go ahead and look over Catwalk. Posey is playing for Velocity, is he not?
Posey, yes, he's actually playing for Velocity. So Posey will be on Velocity roster. He does have, I'm not too sure what gun that is.
Light rifle.
Light rifle. Does have the light rifle. Juicy Fruit does take out AO Trickster. He does have two enemies right there. That's going to be Reaper and Will. Now, who is Will? Will is going to be Shooter, so Shooter will be Will.
Yeah, Shooter has done some magic in these past couple of weeks, but is he outgunned in this scenario? Fading back a bit. He obviously wants to maintain control of the stronghold, but at the same time he knows that if he leaves himself a little bit too vulnerable, it might be resulting in a counter pick. That being said, I'm not seeing a counter contest anytime soon. Right now, whenever I'm looking at Velocity, they have control over the 2 primary objectives, like we're seeing right now. And in this game type, all you need is the majority to start scoring. The team that has just 1 isn't going to be getting any points on the board, and because of that, all the pressure right now is on Rize Gaming.
Yeah, and we're going to switch back on board here with Shooter. Shooter is going to be in the catwalk area. He does have 7-2 now, so complete control of Velocity at the moment. So Velocity still ahead, 8-2. Has complete control. Ty, ironic that he does have the rocket launcher, so Tyler going to be on the Velocity roster. Does spot 1, but will he be able to get the kill him?
Oh man, he's just waiting it out, trying to go ahead and get a surprise on Shooter. He ends up actually getting that rocket kill, but he doesn't really utilize the rocket as best as he possibly could. Maybe those extra times waiting kind of made him burn one of those bullets, and if he perhaps conserved his ammo a bit better, he could have used that weapon to greater extent.
Yeah, and Citra did just take out there, but Bunnies is going to be on the on the stronghold. That's going to be Catwalk. Does have one person in front of him. That's going to be Posey. Posey does manage to get him with the assist, as that was going to be in Citra picks up the kill. Juicy Fruit just trying to control the catwalk area here. Does have his teammate Posey down below. Does spot 1, but Trickster's going to be able to pick him up. The Citra does take out 1, but Bunnies is going to actually fight Cody right here.
Rize Gaming had control over a majority temporarily, but look at the shift immediately. I think what happened was they were a little bit too spaced out between strongholds, and because of that, we were able to see a very quick shift. And now, instead of complete control, we have the 2-for-1 in favor of Velocity eSports. They're at 23 and counting.
Yeah, so Right now, rocket launchers is ready, so the rocket launchers will be on the power position. Not too sure who actually going to be picking it up, but Eccentric does out melee Trickster there, but Posey does get the rocket launchers, does spot one. That's on the shooter. Tyronic does get beat down though, so Juicy Fruit picks up one. That's 3 down now for Rize Gaming, as they only have one person alive on the map. That's going to be Cody. You know, he is extremely far overextended here.
No, I think that's actually a member of Lost.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, man.
But no, it's easy to get confused. We're so used to seeing Rize Gaming in such a dominant performance, but right now it seems like they're really struggling, and that's catching me by surprise to some extent, considering the fact that last week Rize Gaming won their Strongholds map 100-3.
Yes, so you know, very different scene here, as considering the fact that 40-13 right now, and Velocity's just completely dominating right now. You do see Tyler in a gunfight right now. Does drop down. That's going to be Trickster that picks up Posey, but Posey does manage to try to kill with bunnies with the rocket launchers there, but Rocket should go in control of the Rize Gaming roster now.
No shield, and the trade, I think, is going to, at the end, come out in favor of Team Blue. Rize Gaming was able to go ahead and temporarily have a nice push towards this red nest area, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. You see Bunny's trying to go ahead and just pick up this stronghold. He really wants to get control, and he does, but look at how many members of Velocity Esports are just waiting for him. They're circling around the rocket area. They know that that's going to be one of those really decisive power weapons that if they take control of, it might be the final push that they need to really get this game in the bag. Bunny's going ahead, attempting to take another stronghold, but the problem with this push right here is that they might be overextending slightly. As you can see, you have a lot of members of Velocity Esports setting up to go ahead and maybe take back one of those stronghold points. We're going to be seeing that right now. Still in control in favor of Rize Gaming, but how long can they really hold on to these points? The Rockets are back online. Let's see who's going to come out on top. And all of Velocity Gaming right there to shut down that attempt.
Yeah, he had no idea that guy was coming. That was going to be Tyler. Being able to shut him down. Does pick up AO Trickster in the making. Does spot one. That's going to be Troy. That's going to be Reaper himself. Does use... Was that the active camo he used?
I couldn't quite catch it. I was too busy looking at control of those strongholds more than anything else. Shooter 750 getting lit up, and Juicy Fruit's going to get that cleanup on aisle 7. Right now, the stronghold majority has gone right back in favor of Velocity Esports. Think about it. It was all because of that rocket. If that rocket was in favor of Rize Gaming, they could have maybe gotten back into this game, but this just deficit continues to grow as we see Eccentric trying to go ahead and clear up this red nest area.
Yeah, he does have one teammate. That's going to be Tony. It's going to be Eccentric. Does have shooters. So shooters going to try and get the kill here. Does have no shield, half health. Just going to try and wait his shield out. 63-33. Does have 2 controls. Juicy Fruit does pick up the kill with Reaper on the rocket launcher. So Rockets is in control of the Velocity team.
It's such a decisive weapon, especially in a game type like this. You have so many players that are clustered around the centralized objective or several centralized objectives, and because of that, it's just a fantastic weapon. But you're already seeing Eccentric, no rockets needed. That double kill is going to put him on a killing spree right now as Velocity continues the spree that they currently have.
Yeah, so I'm going to hop on board here, Trickster. Trickster is kind of overlooking the catwalk area. Does spot one. That's going to be Posey, as he does manage to take him out. But he does have 2 people there. That's going to be Juicy Fruit over there with Coop, but does not manage to get him. He's going to have 2 people really looking over here. Does spot Posey again, so Posey may actually be able to get him taken out, but sadly he does not. But he does use the active camo.
And the active camo here, I want to see how Trickster uses this. Even though I still feel like this is a very hard bargain, or I guess a very hard thing to take back, it might be useful in potentially shutting down this rocket user. He has to figure out a way where he can separate himself. He doesn't want to expose himself too soon. He wants to get the jump on the rocket user so he can potentially get a nice kill. But right now it looks like he's going to be revealing himself a little bit early, as you see a lot of members of Rize Gaming put under a lot of pressure here. Trickster still maintaining this camo, but how much longer is he going to be able to have that perk for?
I really do like the move what he did there, because you know, he waited for his teammates to come in. He did get the one easy kill that he knew he was going to get without alerting the whole roster from Velocity.
Ooh.
Does manage to rotate back, but just like that, all 3 people from, actually all 4 of Rize go down. So 4 down for Rize. Just
I'll be honest, I didn't like that usage of the camo there. He got a couple of shots into Juicy, but when he realized that Juicy was ducking for cover, that was his time to bail. Juicy has those rockets available, and it doesn't take much to go ahead and shut down the member with active camo, like we saw there. It's total control in favor of Velocity. They are running away with this game as this score grows ever higher.
Yeah, 92 to 48 now, only 8 seconds. Well, not 8 seconds, but 8 points away. You know, we as he shoots, that's going to be Reaper takes out Posey, but they have to really capture this catwalk very quick, and they have to maintain all these points for the rest of the game, because as of right now, Velocity with the slaying potential they have, it just does not seem like it's going to happen.
Well, they're taking catwalk, which is solid for them. They temporarily have this majority control, but how much longer? You can already see Velocity circling around, eager to go ahead and take those strongholds right back as we hop over to Bunnies. He has the SMG out, trying to go ahead and use that clamber mechanic, get some of that higher ground, and there's that grenade that we were waiting for. He spots Juicy. He's going to go ahead and try to take out that shield. He does end up getting the kill, and he uses another grenade as well to go ahead and set up for that melee kill from Shooter. Fantastic play right now that we're seeing, but again, a bit of overextension. We need to see the blue team do a better job of locking down the points that they already had, rather than over-rotating and trying to get even more points.
No, I completely agree. And, you know, Posey did just come up with a clutch play there. You know, he did get the nade kill and then get the pistol shot on one. Trickster's going to have to manage to get this kill. Does manage to get it, though, so still two strongholds in favor of Rize Gaming right now, but Velocity can just push all 4 on 1 point and take it over, and with the rockets they're about to get, it looks like it's going to be over with.
Control those power weapons. It just feels like every single time it's been in favor of Velocity, and Velocity had the overshield as well, but Eccentric ends up getting shut down by Shooter, who unfortunately falls victim to that rocket.
Yeah, Bunnies does manage to pick up Juicy through there, but does get taken out by Tyler. So Reaper trying to get the kill here. You know, 97-75, 3 points away.
2 points left. It's do or die mode right now for Rize Gaming. And as that clock ticks on, they're indeed going to be taken out. Map 1 going in favor of Velocity eSports. Rize Gaming definitely had some fight in them, but I think a really big talking point was in control of those power weapons.
No, I do completely agree. And, you know, Velocity did have full control of those power weapons every single time they had it. And it kind of really was like, what could they do?
They really were. They were just so consistent when it came to locking down those rockets as quick as they can. And they use those rockets in a really nice manner to go and contest some of those strongholds that Rize would temporarily have whenever they would make those decisions. Especially when you're ahead like that, you can allocate less resources towards controlling strongholds and more resources towards acquiring those weapons. Because you understand, you know what, I'm playing this far ahead. It's okay for me to give up a couple of points temporarily because I know I can take this resource away from my opponents and then use it to go ahead and push just far enough ahead. But think about how different this game would be if Rize Gaming was maybe able to secure those rockets, if they were able to get a hold of some of those power weapons. So maybe going forward, not only trying to focus solely on securing some of those points, but also securing those weapons as well would be really big for Rize.
No, I completely agree. And, you know, if you look at the scoreboard, 18 kills from Juicy Fruit, 18 from Tyre, 18 from Eccentric. So 3 people from Velocity dropped 18 plus kills, Posey dropping 11.
Yeah, and Juicy Fruit in particular, he had those rockets so consistently, so I can see why his kill count was so high. But if we drop over to Rize Gaming, Shooter 750, no slouch with 17 kills, 6 caps, and 2 secures. AO Trickster definitely comes to mind as well with his 15 kills. 9 and 8 for Bunny and Reaper, especially for Reaper. I'm a bit surprised. He's usually the talking point of a lot of these games. But again, when you're playing against one of those teams who just might be a touch better than you, can definitely be a lot, especially when you come into a game with so much momentum, winning so consistently.
No, and you are completely agree about that. You know, it's very hard for a team, especially when that getting outslayed so much, in order to capture the points. But it's very hard for them. But you know, I believe Velocity can probably bounce back, or not bounce Velocity, but Rize could probably bounce back. But I do not believe it's going to be in the Slayer game mode. And they have to do something about the slaying potential in order for them to bounce back in Slayer.
Well, with Slayer in particular, being able to control points as well as weapons is massive. And we're gonna be playing on Regret, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so plenty of action. Definitely gonna be seeing a lot around top mid and Carbine as well. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a lot of action.
No, for sure. And while we wait for the second game to go on, we're going to go to one of our sponsor videos on BenQ. BenQ monitor is the official monitor of Versus Gameplay and Versus Gameplay Arcade. Use code VERSUS$20 for $20 off a brand new BenQ monitor, and use code VERSUS$40 for $40 off a refurbished BenQ monitor. And you can get those at benq.us, but only on gaming monitors.
All right, but make sure you keep it locked, because when we come back from this short commercial break, it's going to be game number 2 between Rize Gaming and Velocity eSports.
Yes, sir. Well, guys, we're back here at Versus Gameplay Arcade. It turns out that Juicy Fruit actually lagged out of the lobby and stuff, so he's trying to get his internet back on right now. Juicy Fruit playing for Velocity eSports, so it is currently waiting on that. But guys, also remember, we are partnered with the Microsoft Store as well, so you can pre-order any game on Xbox One and receive a $10 gift card towards it. At Sunday coming up on the 6th, we actually have an event at the Microsoft Store in Frisco, the Star Wars Battlefront party, where it will be a free tournament, 4v4 and 8v8 teams. I'm not too sure how that's actually going to work, as 8v8 is pretty big, and that's a lot of consoles.
I mean, have you seen Battlefront?
That is true.
That game is nuts.
It is pretty good, too. It will be on Xbox One. It does start at 5. It does last, I believe, until 8 p.m., though it may run a little bit later. And food and drinks will be provided. And, guys, remember, that is at the Microsoft Store at Frisco. You can find more information on versusgameplay.com, or if you follow us on Twitter at versusgameplay, you can find more information on it there. But talking about game number 1, that's 175. We never seen Rize lose Stronghold. I have not, at least.
No, I mean, they've been really, really clean when it comes to that mode type. Very dominating overall. But yeah, again, comes to those talking points, right? It comes to the fact that whenever they tried, I think a lot about this one interaction in particular, right? I forgot who it was from Rize Gaming, but it was one guy who was like, oh, you know what? Rockets are back up. I'm going to go get the rockets for the team. And he just gets met by almost every single member of Velocity. It was just all over him, shutting him down immediately. And plays like that, I think, were what Velocity was so good for. They were so good at working together as a team to go and take some of those objectives. Whether those objectives revolved around actually securing strongholds or whether it was around securing power-ups or, in that case, around securing those power weapons. And they were just so consistent. At the end, we saw Velocity had control of overshields. They had control of rockets as well. They just did such a great job of pretty much taking every single potential perk that could be used in favor of Rize to get the game back in their favor, and they just usurped all of that power and took it for themselves and just used it to really ensure that they could win the match. It was fantastic.
One thing I like that Velocity did was, even when they had 2 points captured, and the rockets were coming back up, they all rotated back around to the rocket spawn to secure the rockets. I don't think they ever lost the heart or the stronghold, but if they were, with all 4 people up and they have rockets, how easy would it be just for them to retake it?
It was so easy, and especially whenever Rize made some interesting decisions around rotating around to capture additional strongholds and maintain total control. Like we said before, the issue with that is that you really start to spread yourself thin, and I think that combined with some of those power weapons is what essentially let Velocity eSports come back and secure those strongholds almost immediately after going ahead and leaving them for Rize to take temporarily.
No, I completely agree. And, to see Slayer Regret and Velocity completely outslaying Rize, the only way I can see Rize really winning this is if they play together as a team and they just focus more on the slaying potential. I'm not too sure what happened on the slaying department there because, you mentioned Reaper. He dropped 8 kills on map number 1. Usually Reaper is one of the highest killing people on the team. He's a go-to sniper. What seemed differently there? He just seemed like he got shut down. And
I think a really big thing, especially seeing as we're going into a game type like Slayer, is understanding which battles you can win and which battles you can lose. Remember that one interaction? I forgot who the player was. It might have been Bunnies, who had the active camo, right? And he has the BR out, and he's shooting at Juicy, and he gets Juicy, I think, maybe down to either 1 shot or 2 shot, and Juicy ends up dipping behind a wall with a barrier. And keep in mind that he has rockets. Instead of him trying to go rotate around to get some cover and maybe come at Juicy again when Juicy's by himself, he kind of waits in that area. And Juicy's able to go ahead and get the jump on him, use the rockets to go and basically just decimate him in one shot. And interactions like that are going to be really big in Slayer. Granted, I don't think we're going to be seeing the rocket launcher, seeing as we're going to be going to Regret. But even still, being able to understand which battles you want to commit to and which battles you want to kind of evade from and maybe use your thrust to get behind some cover, that's going to be really, really big for Rize Gaming. They're so used to being really dominant, they have to understand now that there might be some times when it comes to individual player skill that they might just get outgunned. And that's when you have to do things like bait and switch. Make it so you take an unfavorable situation, you bide your time, you wait for your teammate to come with the assist, and you go ahead and switch and turn the table so it's now a favorable situation.
No, you're completely correct. But, we're still waiting on Juicy Food to get into the lobby for Slayer on Regret. But in the meantime, guys, if you are a member of the Halo community and you want to get your team on the show match, next week we will have the winner of this playing Mutiny. Mutiny, another really good team, another big team in the Halo series, as well as other esports itself. Still waiting on Juicy. So if you want to get it, if you want to get your team on, just go to versusgameplay.com, or you can tweet at me at VGP_Shadow, or you can tweet at versusgameplay. We'll send you the link to the forum. Sign up your team, and you may play on the show match within the next 3 weeks, and you may play against Rize Gaming or Velocity Esports.
It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun. And that's one thing I really like about this game. I think the pacing and the feel of the game make it so that we have all these teams from these different eras of Halo that are starting to come back, plus some new teams as well who maybe just now had some interest, or they were kind of underground back during, I guess, the anniversary in the 4 days. And I think that that's a lot of fun. I think that there's going to be a lot of new blood in the mix. I still feel like EG and Liquid are probably going to be pretty dominant overall. But at the same time, I'm really excited by teams like Velocity, right? Some of these more underground teams that are on the cusp of greatness.
No, you're completely correct. I would expect to see CLG, EG, Liquid, Optic in finals, obviously, top 4, top 8. But besides from that, it's pretty much open. And Velocity Esports, like I said, is one of the teams that was sent to make top 8. Rize Gaming, I probably would see them in top 16, if not top 12, at least. But the other spot's open and taken, and it's going to be interesting to see, casting these matches in the next few weeks on which teams will be, which teams are the ones you want to look out for. And depending upon, how they stack up against the winner of the past show match, considering the fact that I believe this is the second time Rize Gaming has actually been down in the show match points.
I mean, they've been down before, right?
They were down 0-2.
Even last week, yeah, right? They started off and they lost that CTF round.
True, you're right.
But they were able to go ahead and, I think, win 3 games in a row in a very dominating fashion. But the potential problem that Rize faces is, let's say they win these next 2 games. Game 4 is going to be CTF on Truth. And last week, they kind of got shut down pretty hard. They're really good at securing 1 point, I feel, right? But when it comes to being able to allocate resources to secure multiple points, that's kind of where they struggle. So I remember the last CTF match that they played. They were really aggressive, and they were very good at initially invading the enemy base and taking the flag. But they didn't have control over top mid, which made it so they didn't have any nice routes to really make use of whenever they had control of that flag. So they'd get controlled flag for maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds, 15 if they're lucky. But they have to go the long way, right? They can't just shoot through top mid. They already have enemies from the other team waiting for them there. And issues like that make it so that at the end of the day, even though they had more chances at scoring, they just didn't get the points on the board.
No, and that can really cost the team a match. They have to be multiple versus. They have to, especially on CTF, they have to be able to control different points. They can't just control 1 point, kind of like how it is in Stronghold, where if you're able to control the middle of the map and you don't let anybody pass the middle of the map, you're at least guaranteed to strongholds. Whereas on CTF, you can't necessarily do that because there's only going to be one straggler that gets wrapped around. There's going to be one person, and as soon as the other flag gets pulled, you can't capture it until you get your flag back. And to have your teammates switch, especially if you're only good at controlling one side, would you see it more in a standoff, or would you actually try and have your teammates go push all 3 and then you maybe get the lucky cap? Because you don't have to think about the other team's going to send 2 or 3 people at you too. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Rize Gaming can actually bring this if they do make it to a game 4, that is, which hopefully, we'll see where it leads.
While Juicy is still trying to figure out his internet issues, I'm wondering if there's any way we can maybe go back to that last match that we saw and kind of highlight some of those key moments.
You know, let's see if we actually can. I'm not too sure if we'll be able to, but in the off chance that we're able to, I'm not too sure if I can.
Nah, it doesn't look like it. That's too bad.
Yeah,
That would have been fun.
That would have been fun.
That would have been fun for sure. I definitely want to, I guess, be more familiar with some of the casting features that this game has. Because they touted a lot of really cool esports features, like with the replay and whatnot at Gamescom. And I haven't really had a chance to use those yet.
No,
it's exciting.
That is true, and you know I haven't been able to use them either. And you should be able to at least see the past matches that you spectated. I do find it kind of lame that you actually have to be in the match in order for it to stay in your theater, because all spectating is doing is you watching a theater game mode. So for you not to, if you're able to spectate, I feel like you should be able to spectate afterwards too. You know, you shouldn't be able to spectate just live and then after you end it, then you're kind of like, oh, you can't get back to it if you wanted to spectate it. But I was still waiting on Juicy Fruit. I guess we'll go to our arcade video. Just, you know.
Yeah. Sorry for the delay, y'all. Internet stuff happens, but we're going to be figuring out what's going on with Juicy, and then we're going to be right back with some more Halo 5 action.
All right, today is day 0 for Versus Gameplay Arcade. So I invited a couple people that I know and trust who have kind of been with me and with us since the first the first tournament that I ran almost 6 years ago out of a little gym, not knowing anything about running tournaments. They've come out and they're kind of helping me dry test the place, make sure the power works, the setups work, the internet works. So far, so good. We're at about 70%, but so far, some good feedback.
Right now, we're here at the Versus Gameplay Arcade preview space. This is basically the temporary space that we have in here to kind of show everybody exactly what we're doing, let you guys know that, you know, we're here for the community to help you guys out and give y'all somewhere to go throughout the week if you want to play different games and, you know, also practice with the locals and do just a whole bunch of different things. With the preview space, we do have, you know, a few setups here and also the arcade games. We're just going to do it big for everybody out here in the DFW, and right now we're just kind of starting it off just to give you guys a little preview of what, you know, we have in store for you.
I want to thank everyone for coming out. It was a free invitational event, so hopefully everyone had a good time. We had food and drinks for everyone, and we're having a Street Fighter Invitational tournament where the winner will get a really nice Day 0 jersey shirt. Again, today's theme was just to kind of have fun, give me some good feedback, give us some good feedback. So thanks to everyone who came out. Thanks to Mike, Markel, and Luis for all of us getting together and putting this together. So hopefully good things are here to come. Thanks.
Welcome back, guys. We are here at the Versus Gameplay Arcade. Juicy Fruit finally not having no more internet connections inside the game. We're going to hop on board with Slayer on Regret and Velocity on the red side, Rize Gaming on the blue side. Velocity did win game number 1, 102-75. Something we have not seen happen from Rize Gaming, where they actually have dropped a stronghold. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they will play this Regret map against Velocity eSports.
Top mid is going to be really important on this map for sure. And it's something that I feel Rize has struggled with in the past. And as we get started, already a lot of chaos. Looks like First Blood is going to be in favor of AO Trickster. Eccentric, however, is going to be getting the trade. And we already see from the top, it looks like that fuel rod control is in favor of Reaper HCS. He's trying to go ahead and take out Juicy Fruit. Ends up taking out his teammate in the process as well. But so far, not a bad start for Rize Gaming.
Nope, 4-3 now in favor of Velocity, so just 2 kills ahead as the Citra did pick up with the assist on AO Trickster. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see, as we do have that SLB shooter on the right-hand side, but top mid control in favor of Tyler. Ironic.
But how long can he hold on to it? We already see 2 members of Rize Gaming eager to go ahead and take that power position right back. Tyler going to be forced to drop down here and try to make his shields
Does have
try to
bunnies.
get out of trouble.
Does have bunnies to his left, though he did just kind of rotate back. 6-5 game still very close. You know, slaying department very close now, as we actually did see in the past compared to the Strongholds game. Tyler does pick up 1 kill on Reaper, but Bunnies manages to trade the kill. Juicy Fruit picked up 1 kill as well. Posey picks up Trickster. Kills just trading right back and forth, and it does not go back past a 2-point deficit.
It's true, but I feel like if we're going to be seeing Velocity start to pull away, it's going to be now. So far, the majority of control of this top mid area has been in their favor. You can already see that Rize Gaming is trying to aggress and go ahead and quit for this wrong. Shooter's going to be taken out by that well-placed headshot from Eccentric, who's going to be knocked out of there by Trickster's grenade.
Yeah, Bunnies does have the DMR right now, so Fuel Rod Cannon does spawn back up in 20 seconds. Bunnies picks up Tyler, does get shots in Juicy Fruit, but picks up Trickster.
Oh, that was a great retreat from Juicy Fruit, but he's still going to be taken out by that headshot. I like the cognizance, though, overall. Again, understanding which battles you can win and which battles you can lose. Really important when it comes to Slayer.
Yep, and right now Rize does get their first lead of the game, 16-12. Rize is pulling it away now. 4 kills away. This is the biggest deficit we've seen all game so far. I think we've only been in the game about 2 or 3 minutes.
Oh,
Full rod cannon being blown up.
He was trying to go and kick that weapon. So cheeky. I love it. Shout outs to the CE days. Bunnies is going to go ahead and get one, clean up 1. He spots Tyre, who was able to take out Reaper, but he decides to pull away here, instead opting to go ahead and take control of top yet again.
Yep, does get picked up by Tyre, though. Tyre with a pistol, Magnum pistol out. Hop on board here with Reaper. Reaper does have 3 people in his mate, but he's only taken up by Posey. 17-19 now, Velocity bringing it back from a 4-point deficit down now from a 2. Does pick up Shooter with a nade kill there. Does have Tony halfway across the map. Let's see if we can rotate back over to him. That's going to be Eccentric.
Ooh, and he's going to be taking out Reaper HCS, who has not been having the best series so far. This is a player who has made some really big plays for Rize Gaming, so I'm sure that he's very frustrated. Right now, top mid control firmly in favor of Velocity eSports. They did a great job ever since we saw that one member of Rize Gaming pop off, trying to go ahead and focus on a lot of kills. I think that might have been potentially an error by them. They had really good control temporarily, but because they were able to give up that power position so easily, we saw all of these members of Velocity eSports clamber right onto this area and really lock it down.
You mentioned before, about a minute ago, saying that Velocity was on pull away right now, and look at them now. They were down 4 kills, and now they're leading by 7 kills. Not even for the past minute. It's finally Reaper finally gets a kill for his team on the board, but Posey answers right back with a kill on him as well.
Just look at how many vantage points they're gained by being able to go ahead and control this top area. Right now, Rize is having such a hard time really evading the barrage that we're seeing as Velocity eSports continues to pull further and further ahead. We're going to be going over to Bunnies. He did have that DMR out. He's been able to make some big plays, but he looks like he's going to be switching up his gun type just a bit. Spots Posey, gets the shield out, but he's caught by Eccentric. Again, they're running this squad type of formation. There was a little bit of a bait and switch there. The second that one of those members of Velocity felt that they were a little bit in that danger zone, they pulled away and let their teammate handle it. Tyre Ironic right by that fuel rod, but his teammate's going to scoop it up instead as he decides to go ahead and drop down towards the yard. This is another 2v1 scenario. Shooter's going to be flanked right now, and he doesn't have enough in the tank to go ahead and come out on top as Tyre's going to be taking one for his team.
No, but I want to pull up scoreboard real quick. As we see, 10 kills from Juicy and Eccentric. Posey kind of down below, but Bunny's being the big feature for his team with 12 kills. Automatically, almost half of the kills on his team there. Everybody else below 10.
Definitely really big. The rest of his team has to find some answers, but it just feels so in favor of Velocity right now.
Yeah, 36-29, 7-kill lead. You know, still anybody's game. Rize Gaming could essentially come back and sweep it right now and just get all the kills on the board, but I don't believe that's going to happen.
Especially the way that they're playing right now. Shooter did a solo push up towards the top, and there were just 2 members of Velocity there. The second that one gets into trouble, they can just go and thrust behind some cover and let the teammate do the cleanup, like we're seeing right now. They're not playing in a way where they're all trying to go ahead and make it so they go big when it comes to kills. They're really understanding how they can work as a team so they can win together rather than winning individually.
Yeah, Bunnies did pick up Eccentric there with the nade kill. Shooter does spot Eccentric though, does get the shields down, try and go for the nade kill, but Eccentric just going to fall back, get the shields back up. You know, top mid control in favor of Team Rize right now.
Temporarily. Yeah. All very temporary. We can already see Tyler posted around. They're going to be waiting together more likely than not. We're going to be seeing a bit of a change in of a kill swap in favor of Velocity, and they're going to be able to go ahead and use those grenades to clean up top mid a bit.
Yep, Juicy Fruit automatically 43-33 now. Juicy Fruit does beat down Bunny, so Fuel Rod is ready, so the Fuel Rod cannon, I believe, is going to go in favor of Team Velocity, as I'm not, yeah, Posey was the one who did pick it up, 45-35. Ooh, 45-36. I just don't see the deficit happening right now.
Yeah, it's looking really rough. It's looking very rough, and the fact that they had that overshield as well is going to mean really big troubles, as Posey is about to go on a rampage with this fuel rod. He spots Reaper, and he ends up knocking out that shield to go ahead and set up for that kill for Eccentric.
It has to be very disheartening for Reaper. Reaper had him down to no shields, and he picked up that old shield, put it on his chest, and immediately got full shields right back up. Reaper trying to prevent from having him 49-37.
Posey spots one. It's Shooter, but he's not able to get the kill. There it is. Yep, finally coming out on top. Velocity taking control of top mid and taking map number 2.
Yep, 50-37. You know, Posey did get the final kill with the fuel rod cannon. We bring up the scoreboard: 17 kills, 5 assists from Juicy Fruit, 14-7 from Tyronic, 12 from Eccentric, Posey 7-10. On the opposite side, Bunny's really the only one that was doing really a lot of work.
He was the only one that was positive there. I mean, what happened with Reaper HCS and Shooter 750? These are 2 players that we consistently highlight really not coming through for the end of their team. But think about it again, right? Especially whenever we talk about the mid game, Velocity just had such an iron-hold grasp on that top mid area. They had so many vantage points, and it just felt that for so long in the mid game, Rize couldn't really go anywhere. And because they were doing solo pushes instead of coordinated pushes to try and contest that power position, they really gave up a lot of kills.
Yep, and you know, I do believe this is actually going to be the map where it kind of break out. The game mode will be Rize bringing it back, or Velocity just 3-0ing them. And take it, that's redundant to say, but Velocity, with the way they're playing together as a team, I honestly believe they have this breakout hands down. Because
see, I don't know. I feel like it's still up for grabs. I think anyone can take it. Rize Gaming started off really strong at the beginning, and when we look at the early game, they actually had a lead. But when it came down to the mid and the late game, when it came down to actually holding down one of those power positions for a prolonged period of time, that's when they really started to falter. And that's the thing about Breakout, is that you don't necessarily have those power positions that you have to hold for a really long time, because the nature of those rounds are so short overall.
I agree with you in the beginning and everything what you said, but the aspect is Velocity's just playing more as a team than what Rize is at the moment. Like, they're playing more together, and when you have Breakout one life, it all matters the most, because the bait and switch tactic like you were talking about, Velocity pulled that off a lot and pulled it off great. That's not happening a lot in this, because you have no shield, you have one life, every kill counts, and you can't. Velocity, what they didn't do was they never had one person just kind of go out in the middle, besides one point where they had, I believe it was Eccentric, go out in the top mid, and they had somebody drop down that we were spectating, and that eventually died by a nade kill or something like that. But besides from that, they were playing all well together, and Rize was doing that in the beginning, but after that, they just kind of got picked off one by one, or Velocity bait and switched them. But going into Breakout and Gamble now, 5 rounds to win, 2 minutes a round. seems like this is a go-to breakout map.
This is do or die mode for Rize Gaming. They're going to be losing their iron hold grasp when it comes to the title belt here. But let's see what they can maybe bring to the table as we go in. Game number 3. It's going to be breakout.
Yep, this seemed like the nade kill was messed up by Juicy Fruit. Posey does pick up Reaper, but Reaper trades it on Posey, but Shooter picks up Juicy Fruit, so now it's a 2v3 situation. Tyler down now, so it's a 1v3.
Oh man,
Little Centric. Where is he? I can't spectate him. I can't spectate Eccentric, but it's okay.
That's too bad. Eccentric going to be taken out there. This is what I was talking about. Rize, when it comes to that early game, they can be pretty strong. And if they can take this momentum and kind of run with it, it's going to be great. One thing that I noticed was Rize was all over that camo area. Did you notice that DMR kill, the second that we saw that member of Velocity trying to go for that camo, a bullet to the brain was all that it took. We're going into Eccentric. He was the last man alive, and he's still playing a relatively cautious sort of game. Hiding behind one of those ramps. Clamber try to go ahead and get the jump. And it's going to be a bit of a trade as Tyler Ironic is going to be taking out Bunnies, as Shooter is going to be taking out Tyler Ironic. There's the swing in favor of Velocity that we were looking for, and it's a Reaper against the world. He spots Juicy Fruit, but he doesn't get the headshots that he needs. Reaper, what is going on? He's been such a great player overall, but right there, I'm already seeing that he's a bit shaky. He had all the advantages that he needed to go ahead and come out on top, and that was the time to do it. He might still be a little bit shook. It just might be some of the jitters that happen whenever you're playing against a really well-known team, but I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta pull in big for your team, especially when you're the last man standing. Yep,
and you know, Posey did just spot one, spots Trickster down bottom mid, picks him up. That's gonna be Tyler Ironic gets a kill on him with the headshot on the DMR. Shooter does pick up Juicy Fruit, trades a kill with him. Bunny's in a gunfight right now to Posey, but he does have Reaper right there.
Ooh, this is really big. Posey able to go ahead and take out one, and Eccentric
picks up Reaper.
Yeah, it's really big play. That's always what happens, right? You have the scenario where it's a 3v3, and then all of a sudden Velocity gets 2 kills. But Shooter has something to say. He spots Tony, but he couldn't quite put the bullets in where he needed to. Eccentric still hiding. He is able to go ahead and duck and cover. But right there, he left himself exposed just long enough for Posey to go ahead, sneak up behind, and get that kill.
And he had no idea he was there because of the active camo. Posey picked up the active camo there, used it perfectly because, you know, he kind of expected somebody to be there, but the active camo made him invisible. He wasn't able to see it, and it cost him for it. Starting out with a submachine gun, though.
Yeah, going over to Bunnies, who's been pretty great overall in this series. He was really big, and he has his eyes locked on that camo. He doesn't want to see it utilized again.
Yeah, Cody, though. Cody jumping up Juicy Fruit. It's now a 2v3 situation, you know, does have the active camo. I don't know if Zach will spot him, though. Bunny's trying to look over there, but
it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Reaper does manage to power stomp on Tyre.
Yeah, it's Spartan charge, man.
Spartan charge? Yes.
2v2, all of a sudden becoming a 1v2 as Reaper is all alone. And he's about to get ground pounded. He weaves around and avoids danger, but the headshot still connects. And Reaper, two times so far in this series. Velocity eSports going up 3 rounds to 1.
You know, I feel like, I forgot who was spectating, but whoever got the kill right there, I feel like he tried to do the Spartan charge for like a
ground pound.
Final, yeah, the ground pound for a final kill cam. Messed up. I'm very surprised that he was actually able to get it. But Juicy Fruit takes out Shooter. That's not what you want to do when you are 3-1.
Like we said, early game momentum, that's really where Rize starts to factor in. But able to take the active camo temporarily, only to get shut down immediately afterwards. AO Trickster going to be the last member alive of Rize. Let's see what he can do. He has that shotgun available. And he's in a tight area, but you can already see that there's just space. That shotgun is rendered ineffective. Right now, Velocity eSports 1 round away from taking this series.
And sweeping Rize Gaming, something that I never thought we'd ever see. I never expected Rize Gaming to be swept on the show match.
I mean, this is the difference. It's Mighty Ducks, right?
Yep.
Whenever you see JV go against Varsity for the first time.
It is true. You know, it is like the Mighty Ducks roster. And take it, you know, Rize Gaming is doing very well against this team that, you know, they said that they expected to place top 8, and a lot of his research about this team, they're making waves. And right now it's a 3-3 situation. They do have AO Trickster spotted, but Juicy Fruit manages to pick him up, keeps his teammate alive. Does spot Shooter, trying to get the headshot, picks him up as well. We're going to rotate back over to Reaper.
And that's it. No time to rotate over to Reaper. He's going to be taken out long range from that DMR. Rize Gaming. They had a great streak here so far, but Velocity eSports coming out and going huge. We got to talk about Juicy Fruit there. We saw him get so many kills, especially in that last round. He's going to be the MVP for Velocity with 11 kills in that breakout game.
Yep, 4 kills from Eccentric, Tyronic 3, Posey 4, Shooter with 6, Bunnies and Reaper 2 apiece, and then I'm assuming the last person quit out before the game
Trickster.
was in. Yep, Trickster was last person, but oh man, like never expected that to happen on Showmatch.
I mean, it's one of those things. Coming from a Smash background, I see it all the time. You see situations where you, I guess, play against a certain pool of players, and because you do, you feel that you are this good, right? You're like, yeah, I'm undefeated, I'm untouchable. But then you go ahead and you come across that upper echelon, right? It's actually a quote from this show called Ping Pong the Animation, right? And it's something that this character named Kong Wenga says, and he says, let me show how powerless and unpolished you actually are. And the thing is that in that show, the person that he says it to ends up training really hard eventually because of that one interaction. And things go a little bit differently the next time those two face off in a match. And I want to see that same sort of mentality from Rize Gaming. They may have taken a bit of a beating here, but what you do now is you go back, you review the footage, you really figure out what you did well, and you ensure that you refine that as best you can, and then you look at what you really could have improved on and focus on that as heavily as possible.
Well, you also got to think about it this way, too. And Velocity Esports, take it, they did win 3-0. But that doesn't talk about the games. The only game that they won exponentially big was the last one, which was Breakout, and which was 5-1. Everything else was a very small deficit.
And that's such a momentum-based game overall. When it comes to actual gunfights overall, I wouldn't say that Velocity heavily outclassed Rize either. They just did a great job of securing points on the map where they'd have much better sightlines and great vantage points overall. And that's what they'd be able to use. Even in that last interaction that we saw with Juicy, right? He was in an area where he was able to pretty much see a majority of the map, and he's able to really easily pick off members of Rize Gaming before they even have a chance to fight. And that's a really big talking point. It's not necessarily the slaying skills, but more so how these members of Rize Gaming kind of work together as a team to take some of those points, and how they don't overextend to go ahead and ensure that they can control those points as long as possible.
Yeah, and also thinking about, as well, Reaper and Shooter, 2 players we always see do exponentially huge, kind of shut down. I know everybody has their bad games. Was it just a bad game they were having? A bad night, maybe a bad night of practice. Maybe this wasn't their just night. Or was it Velocity shutting him down? We may never know until we see this team play again, and it may be different.
Yeah, in the fighting game scene, we call it playing on tilt. That's kind of what happens whenever you don't have momentum. And I feel like that might have been what happened tonight. But no qualms there. Reaper is an excellent player overall. Same with Shooter, and I know that those are 2 players that are definitely going to be bouncing back hungry next week.
Yep, and next week we'll have, if Velocity does choose to come back, they'll be playing Mutiny next week. It's going to be some great games with them too as well. But guys, let's shout out the arcade. We showed the video, everything, but let's talk about what we do here. We're located at 9750 Walnut Street, Suite 194, right next to Sway's, Dallas, Texas. On Mondays, we do the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 show match, which you can also just find on our Twitter, on our weekly page as well, on versusgameplay.com to sign up for. Tuesdays is our Super Smash Brothers night. Wednesday is our Halo 5 show match. If you want to get your team on here, feel free to tweet at us, or just look on the Twitter after the show match, and we'll post a link to the little signups. Thursday will be Street Fighter Casuals. Friday, Mortal Kombat X Weekly. Saturday is Ultra Street Fighter 4. And Sunday, we'll end it with Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom. But guys, that's it for us here really at the Versus Gameplay Arcade. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Versus Gameplay. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube page. All of these videos will be uploaded on YouTube at Versus Gameplay Videos. And guys, I'm VGP Shadow.
I'm JV.
Yep, you can follow us on Twitter at VGP_Shadow and
at JVarg1990. Take care, y'all. Have a great night. Thanks for